it's interesting when you look at the two countries that you can't really visit would be Cuba and North Korea. And both of their leaders in a lot of ways are kind of stuck in a time loop. Like I hear I've been really into a lot of good travel YouTubers, which it's just something fun to see because they'll go to, wherever in the world. Drew Brinsky is one that's like really unique. And he went to North Korea and he was speaking about it. And he's like, it's essentially like stepping through a portal and you're back in the 60s or 70s in like a post-Soviet period. And the leadership's like that, the communist style, even the propaganda looks like something from that time period. So it's funny, the two countries that people really don't want to talk about or be like, these are the ones that are still stuck in like what we really see where communism goes. And then everyone wants to be like, what about China or Vietnam? And it's like, are they even communists at this point with the capitalist qualities, with all these it's like, but again, that people want to focus on, well, there's some benefit there. And it's like, no. The countries that are actually where the historical example usually leads, it's Cuba, North Korea. They're not doing too well. That's not where you want to be.
So let's clear this up, right? Is China communist still? So technically, if you use like the academic definitions of communism, you would think that China is not communism. Maybe it's something like a state capitalism or something like that, right? But it really, from my perspective, you can't use rational textbook definitions to define something that's in China. The reason is this. It's a totalitarian system where the person in charge, their main goal isn't really about preserving the ideology itself. It's more about preserving power. So they will use, at this particular time, what is fitting for them. So for example, right, Mao, he was really adopting what happened with Lenin, what happened with Stalin, the need for these massive purges, bloodshed, these sort of things to maintain his power. When he died, when Deng Xiaoping came into power, he thought the way to maintain his power was through opening up the economic side of things. But then now Xi Jinping, he's more like, we have to go back to what Mao did, right? So every communist leader had a different interpretation of what they thought was, I guess you'd say, the communism of their time. But clearly everybody knows, the textbook definition of communism is socialism. You reach communism, right? You don't start with communism. So it's socialism. That's why Xi Jinping now talks about socialism with Chinese characteristics. What they're all basically doing is that they're combining all of the evil traits of different things. Like in some sense, you could say that it's like Chinese fascism because there's a whole nationalistic fascist perspectives as well. You could say that it's state capitalism because China technically has still aspects of a market economy, and so it's just more centrally planned. You can also even say that it's an authoritarian government because there's one man rule or totalitarian. So technically you could really define it in different ways. But I just want to say that the point why I still say China is a communist country is because it is their bread and butter sort of base for all these things that have happened over the years, because they did it under the banner of communism, and that's why I still say it's communism. But in reality, I think you can't just define, because it's almost like it combined and learned from all of the evil in history. For example, with the concentration camps we're seeing in western part of China, that stuff is adopted from what they did with the Jewish population during World War II, right? But then you also have, the whole persecution against different religions, against the student groups, suppressing protests, all these things. Those are also adopted from different sorts of dictatorial regimes over the years. So it's very hard to define China as sort of say, and I always get comments like these on my videos. They're like, no, China's not a communist country. They're a state plan economy, whatever, right? That's not the core of the argument. The core of the argument is they've used communism to justify their means and to do the things that they've done. So, to me, that sounds like a communist country to me.